Before we start anything, we need to take a moment of silence, obviously for Daunte Wright. Okay, thank you. Also, I need to just put in perspective that there are Daunte Wrights and there are George Floyds and there are Breonna Taylors right here in Boston and in Massachusetts. So, additionally, we're going to take a moment of silence for Moses Harris, who was buried today. Additionally, we're going to take a moment of silence for Burrell Ramsey White, who was shot in 2012. Additionally, we're going to take a moment of silence for Terrence Coleman, who was shot in 2016. Now, honestly, I need you to raise your hand if you've ever heard of Burrell Ramsey White. Honestly, and there's no shame. Terrence Coleman, Moses Harris, Daunte Wright, George Floyd, Sandra Bland. There's no shame here, but we gotta do better. We have to do better, including myself. So today, when you go home, I need you to Google Moses Harris, Burrell Ramsey White, and Terrence Coleman. And pardon me if there are any names that I forgot, because I got a lot going through my head. If there's any other names you want to shout out, we can take an additional moment of silence for them also. Oh yes, Adam Toledo. Feel free to just throw them out.
Breonna Taylor! Sandra Bland!
If anybody needed to know why we're here, that's why. I don't have a fancy speech. My name is Shimmy. I'm part of the Freedom Fighters Coalition. This is the March for Justice for Daunte Wright. Make some noise for being here. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna bring up the mom of Burrell Ramsey White. It's Miss Carla Sheffield. Make some noise for Carla Sheffield, y'all.
Thank you. Nino, thank you for allowing me to go first. It is very hard to get up every day, even after 8 years of dealing with this, because I still have yet to receive any justice. I know I always come to these rallies, I say my piece and then I split. It's like I have a paralyzed adult son at home and no one to help me care for him. So this is why I come, say what I have to say and I go. But what I have to say is very important because we keep having these gatherings and we are so sick and tired of hearing my prayers are with the families. That does not bring our child back. What we need is accountability from the police department, from our Congress, from our senators, from City Hall. You all are peace officers. You are supposed to make our streets safer, and you are contributing to the problem. My son was shot. My son, Burrell Anthony Ramsey Wright, was shot and killed 10 days after he turned 26 in what was a routine traffic stop on Columbus Ave, Tremont Street. Columbus Ave. I lived in Tent City for 10 years. According to the 4-line police report, it says someone called the police department because someone was looking in cars and they had a routine traffic stop. My son was pulled over. They asked my son for his license. My son asked why he was being pulled over. The officer didn't tell him. They went back and forth for a few minutes. Why are you pulling me over? License and registration. My son was driving someone else's car. He then gave the officer, he put the window down about this much, gave the officer his license. There was two officers, a black officer on this side of the car, a white officer on this side of the car. Mind you, when they pulled up, they had a warrant in their hand. I didn't know this until we got into court, that they had a warrant in their hand for the owner of the car that my son was driving. When my son gave them the license, they couldn't be bothered to compare the warrant to the license. The white officer then reached inside the car with the window that cracked and tried to grab my son. So my son took off. He started the car, drove into Tent City where he knew people knew him. He jumped out the car, left it running, and continued to run. These officers gave chase. One went to the car, and the other one continued to chase my son, calling him, "Motherfuckers, I'm gonna kill you. Don't let me catch you." Because now their adrenaline's pumping. They are pissed off that they gotta run and chase after somebody. So this heightens this officer, and I can't say what's in his mind, but after going to court and hearing his story change over and over again, he's just as bad as the people he's putting behind bars. So he chases my son, and my son tries to run into this teen center that we had created in Tent City, but the door was locked. So my son turns around and puts his hands up, and the officer shoots and kills him. The officer changes his story 4 times. After my son drops, everybody comes out. There's a little girl who knew my son by his voice. She could hear the tussling and called her mother. Her mother comes outside, and my son is laying on the ground dead. There was an 86-year-old woman who watched all this transpire. There was a videotape that caught all this, but Commissioner Gross, and this hasn't been said, but I am so sick and tired of not getting justice, so I'm starting to name names. I can't say the officer's name because they will sue me. They will sue me. Isn't that ironic? But I'm going to let you know that Commissioner Davis was the commissioner at the time. And he went into Tent City and took the videotape that captured all this. He left because his son was also being arrested for breaking and entering in the daytime with a dangerous weapon. So he took this tape, Rachel Rawlins, this is my evidence that I'm sharing with you because you called me, you sent me a letter saying that you would meet with me in December. We're here in April. I responded, I called, and still no meeting. So now I'm going to do it publicly. Commissioner Gross took the tape, went and slid his son into a drug program and re-slid my son into a grave. That is not fair. I will not shut up. I do work for the courts, and I feel like justice is not blind. It's the people controlling the justice, the laws. It's the ones who sit behind the laws, that hide behind the laws, that hide behind their supervisors. That's what needs to change. Stop hiring people straight out of high school. Educate them, train them, give them something to aspire for. If you want to be a police officer, the whole thing is to public safety. You can't pick and choose who wins and who loses. You can't pick and choose what city, what country, what town that you want to uplift and respond to in a nice manner, and the other one in a derogatory, negative, lambasted way. We are so tired of y'all painting us as these bad criminals when white folks do the same crime. Stop the bullshit. I'm tired. I got 4 grandsons, and I have to raise them in this. So let's, not only with the police, in our own community. Enough is enough. Stop killing each other. We have to work together. The United States is supposed to be the best country in the world. It does not discriminate. It doesn't demonstrate that. Every day, another mother is going through what I went through 8 years ago. It's enough. And if Congress doesn't want to help, use your voice. Get them out. We can run. We can run. It doesn't require much. It requires determination, positivity, attitude, and wanting a better change. I can go on and on, but as I said, I have to get to my son, so I'm going to leave y'all with this poem. First of all, court needs to change too. For the mothers like myself who keep losing their kids to police officer and to the kids on the street, justice is not being served, and that needs to change. Supervisors need to be dealt with. You can't keep slapping these same officers on the street and talk about see something, say something when we watch your officer see something and not say something. And George Floyd is not here because of that. Don't ask us to follow laws that you're not following. The laws weren't put on this planet, on this earth, just for citizens. Just because you put on a blue uniform, you still have to not only abide by the laws of the world, but you have your own police department laws that you clearly aren't following. Get it together or get out the way so someone else can do your job better. My son was killed 10 days after he turned 26. It took me 3 months to lift my head up off the pillow. And that after that 3 months, I had so much anger in me. I went through every program that they had so I would not be portrayed as an angry black woman. And standing in front of you is a black woman who's angry. I wrote a poem and I entitled it, Hey Officer. So this goes out to all the officers, all your supervisors, listen and change. And it goes, hey officer, can I take this out of here? I miss my son. I miss my child. You took him from me and hid all the while. I miss my son's face. My heart's in a broken place. You took my son without my permission. Now I'm crying, praying, and wishing that justice be served, because if nothing else is what I deserve. You pretend to protect and serve. You got a nerve. You carry a badge and gun. Expect a brother not to run. You wear a uniform, pretending to be a cop. When he asks you not to, you raise your gun and shot. Now I'm left here to wrap this around my head. The Boston police just shot my son dead. No words of comfort. You said nothing nice. I hope to hell this haunts you for life. A mystery shooter, I know it's weird. He shot my son and disappeared. It wasn't a child from off the street. It was Boston police that walked the beat. Oh yeah, you said he opened fire, but we all know that's cold, you liar. That's what your super told you to say. It makes it easier to clear you that way. Our children are dropping time after time, but to be shot by police, now that's a crime. Then to say his death wasn't violent, it was to me because my life was silent. As my story comes to an end, how do I tell my grandchildren police are your friend? You reap what you sow, and just so you know, as Burrell's mother, I will never let this go. Thank you. Be the change you seek.
Make some noise for Carla Sheffield, y'all. Say his name, Burrell Ramsey Wright. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. All right, we're going to keep it going. Next, we're going to bring out my brother Nino from the Party of Socialism and Liberation. Make some noise, y'all.
Word, peace. My name is Nino, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all. Thank you, Carla, for sharing that poem with us. Every time I hear that poem, I get inspired to fight, right? Because we are here not just to mourn, but we are ready to fight, right? Are you ready to fight? Yeah! Are you ready to fight? Yeah! So I want to start with a poem by Claude McKay, and just really big up all of the victims here in Boston that we don't hear about, right? We have Terrence Coleman, a 30-year-old black man who was shot in the South End in front of his own mother. And Police Commissioner William Evans at the time said that his mother, Hope Coleman, lied even though they killed him right in front of her, right? Usama Rahim, a black Muslim man who was killed in a CVS, right, in Boston. And the whole story that the media told us was, well, he's a terrorist, right? And who's telling us this? The people who took his life. Usama can't speak for himself. You killed him on his way to work in cold blood. So as we see these tragic incidences all over the country, we have to remember that the resistance has to start at home, right? In order to build solidarity, we have to lift up these names and lift up these struggles. So Claude McKay, if you know this poem, If We Must Die, you can snap along. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock of our accursed lot. If we must die, oh let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us through the dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies open graves? Like men will face the murderous, cowardly pack. Cowards pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back if we must die. Black people in this country were not brought here to be citizens. We were brought here to labor and build up the wealth of this country. So we cannot disconnect the birth of this country from the murderous violence that happens every single day. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and in Brooklyn, New York, we used to do cop watch. We used to train people to watch the police, right, with the Malcolm X Grassroots Project. And we carried out a study, and it found that every 28 hours, the police are killing someone. So what Carla said is quite literal. Every single day, our people are dying at the hands of the people who are supposed to protect us, right? So we're here recognizing that what happened to Daunte Wright, what happened to Adam Toledo, is not disconnected from the 400 plus year undeclared war that has been going on against black people. In the PSL, we have a slogan that goes, "Stop the war on black America." Can y'all say, "Stop the war on black America"? Stop the war on black America. Stop the war on black America. Stop the war on black America. Right, because this is an undeclared war. The police know it. They have tanks, military-grade weaponry, bazookas, snipers, right? You would think that they're going up against another army, right? They see us as enemy combatants, as colonized subjects, not citizens. So at this point, we have to get it past that we're not going to reform this system. We're not going to pass a new law that's going to stop any bullets in my back, right? Yeah! Yeah! And as an educator, I teach first grade, right? Seeing the death, shout out to the first grade teachers. Shout out to the Boston Teachers Union, right? Within our union, we passed a resolution that called for the removal of police from schools because we know that the cops, when they're in schools, all they do is profile black students, black and brown students, right? All they do is abuse us. We know that the former Boston Police Union president was a serial child molester and rapist, right? We have to fight for justice here as well. It's beyond any bill, it's beyond any law, right? Like we say, we know what we saw. Change the system, change the law. We need a new system because a system that was built upon our backs is not going to liberate us. We cannot trust the capitalist system. We cannot trust the capitalist system to put the capitalist system on trial, right? No matter what they say about Derek Chauvin and him being some type of lone wolf, trying to disassociate him from the good and friendly Minnesotan police, right? The good and friendly Minnesotan police that just killed Daunte Wright, right? The same police union, Kim Potter, who not only killed Daunte Wright, but covered up the murder of an autistic man in 2019, right? As the union president, she showed up on the scene of the crime, told her 2 police officers to get into 2 different vehicles, turn your body camera off, and go 2 opposite directions, right? So we know that shows America is not America. There's not one America for all of us. There's America for the rich and powerful and for the police. And then there's the America for the black, the Puerto Rican, the Mexican American, the working class, the poor and colonized people, the oppressed people, right? So we're not fighting for justice within their system. We're fighting for justice, which means a new system, right? So as a teacher, as a unionist, as an organizer, as a black person, we know that a system that was built upon our backs cannot liberate us. And we have to continue to spread that message, continue to spread that consciousness, because so long as we think that Kamala Harris is the pinnacle of African, Asian, or black and Asian solidarity, or no matter how many black faces they put on a white supremacist institution, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because as long as they have power, right? That's the ultimate equalizer. We don't need representation within their courts, within their systems. We need the power to try them, the power to put not just Derek Chauvin on trial, but to put the whole system on trial. So I want to end with this, right? In the PSL, some of our comrades have been attacked. In Denver, where Elijah McClain was murdered, our comrades were organizing the families and community on the front lines night in and night out, right, demanding justice for Elijah McClain. And what happened to my comrades? They got arrested, claiming that they kidnapped the police, right? They had a protest outside the police department, and the police said, "Oh my God, we're so afraid for our lives," right, with all their tanks and bazookas. So they took our comrades to court and charged them with nearly 60 years, right, of crimes, so-called crimes, right? The killers of Elijah McClain are walking free, but the people who are protesting, asking for justice, are facing some 60 years in prison, right? So we cannot reform that. We can only defeat that, right? We can't mosey on our way into some type of new racial democracy. We have to build a new democracy that's based upon the people who have been oppressed, the families like Carla Sheffield, like Terrence Coleman, and all of us here. And what that means is that we need all power to the people. So, as I close, I need y'all to say with me, all power to the people. Until we get equal. We need all power to the people. Say his name, Terrence Coleman. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Peace. All power to you. Thank you for coming out here.
Make some noise for Nino, y'all. In the entire PSL, everybody from PSL, raise your hand. Make some noise for them, y'all. Not loud enough. Make some more noise, y'all. Do you have any high school students present? If you're a high school student, raise your hand. Make some noise for the high school students, y'all. We got any college students? College students. Make some noise for the college students, y'all. Up next, we're going to bring a speaker from a student-led organization over at Northeastern. Shout outs to Northeastern. I'm going to bring up Ilana from YDSA. Make some noise. Not loud enough. Make some noise. A little bit louder. Make some noise.
Hi y'all, I'm Ilana and I'm from the YDSA at Northeastern University. Hi. I'm a freshman at Northeastern. I only just turned 19 last month. Even so, as this country has not shied away from showing us there's no age requirement to having experience with racism, I remember sitting on the corner of my bed at 12 years old grieving the death of a boy I've never even met. Reading headlines about Tamir Rice, who was killed by the police at 12 years old, was paralyzing. I sat there shaking and crying in my mother's arms, begging her to tell me why they keep killing us. Tamir Rice was my age when cops murdered him. Daunte was a year older than me now when cops murdered him. Andre was just 13 when cops murdered him. As a movement, we've moved past sending just thoughts and prayers. I feel like we've moved past simply making the radical declaration that Black Lives Matter online. Although, let there be no question about it, Black lives do matter. They have always mattered and they will continue to matter for as long as we can imagine. And as a Black woman, I know that my life matters. I know the lives of my Black friends and family members matter. I know the lives of my Black siblings who might not be related to me by blood, but share a lived experience in a system that just loves to show how much it hates Black people. I know that their lives matter. I know we know that Daunte Wright's life mattered. I know that we know Andre Toledo's life mattered. I know we know Breonna Taylor's life mattered. I know we know Ahmaud Arbery's life mattered. I know we know the lives of George Floyd and the countless others that keep getting added to the seemingly never-ending list of names that keep getting killed by the police, I know that their lives mattered. And I know that, you know how I know that we know that their lives mattered? Because we're still out here. And we're gonna keep showing out until we say it's over. Not when the cops say it's over, not when the killer cops say it's over.
Come on. Say so.
We are, thank you.
You can do it!
Not when the killer cops say it's over, but when we're finally at a point where our community members aren't being murdered at the hands of those who are supposed to protect and serve us. As a movement, we need to start acknowledging the injustices that are ingrained in our country's very framework. We need to start shifting our momentum from asking for small concessions, from calling for reform and begging them to kill less black people. They shouldn't be killing any black people. As a movement, it's time for us to organize in favor of moving towards the ultimate goal of abolition. As a movement, it's time we organize in favor of moving towards abolition, because too often the ideal is we talk about police reform as if that's the ideal. As if our current idea of policing is something that can be tweaked or updated to work in our favor. As if a system that's existed for 400 plus years, a well-oiled machine that was designated for the purposes of catching enslaved black people, can ever be set on a track where we won't have to collectively mourn the loss of yet another person murdered by the police. In those 400 plus years, we've seen a few bugs in the machine software. In 1865, we ended one version of slavery with the 13th Amendment, but they included a clause that legalized its perpetuation in our prison system. And so the machine continued to function. We asked for equality under the law, and they gave us Jim Crow and redlining. The machine continued to function. In the 1950s and the 60s and the 70s, we asked again, and they imprisoned and killed our leaders. The machine continued to function. After segregation legally ended in 1964, just 56 years ago, mind you, redlining and gentrification continued to negatively affect communities of color, preventing us from buying homes in certain neighborhoods and deepening the racial and socioeconomic divide present in this country. The machine continued to function. The software of this well-oiled machine of systemic racism has had countless other updates in years that it's been in place, but now we need to push for an end to the system. The prison-industrial complex, which allows police brutality to continue and thrive. Now I'm questioning why we keep asking for updates to this well-oiled machine. Why not just scrap it and look for a system rooted in more equitable systems for our communities? Now, I know abolition, the little A word, it can sound a little scary. It can sound radical, but it's necessary. We need to recognize that policing as we know it is not the best way to serve it, and we need to get away from it at all costs. We've already asked for police reform. It didn't work. A system that allows for a police force to knowingly keep a child molester on the force, sweep the allegations under the rug, and then elect him as president of their police union. I'm looking at you, Boston Police, looking at you on top of the stage. A system that allows for that cannot be reformed. It cannot be allowed to continue. Just last week in New York City, months after the Eric Garner Anti-Chokehold Act was signed into law, we saw an NYPD officer with, guess what, his knee on another black man's neck. On Monday in Minneapolis, literally 15 minutes after being banned from launching tear gas onto protesters demanding for justice for Daunte Wright, the police did just that. This country's police department has shown us time and time and time again that we can put all the rules we want in place regarding what the police can and can't do. This country's police system has also shown us that time and time and time again that the police will continue to break those rules because they know they have the power to do so. They know that as long as we continue to present a divided front, they will continue to have that power. So what would a world without police look like? That's for us to decide, but the road to abolition starts with the realization that our current form of policing does very little to prevent proactive crime. we'll be on the road to abolition once we start dismantling our current systems through actions like ending private prisons. Actions like decriminalizing drug use so that people with drug use disorders can seek restorative help rather than fearing facing punitive measures that will only perpetuate their drug use disorder. Actions like massively defunding the police. And I'm talking massive, not like we saw in Minneapolis with the Minneapolis PD when they divested 4.5% from their $179 million police budget. Defunding the police and divesting that money into the community at large will pay for things like affordable housing. It'll pay for things like quality resources for education. It'll pay for things like physical and mental health care, and so much more that will in turn reduce our need for police at all. So, I know the word abolition can be scary. Prisons end with them. The idea of sending people who commit crimes to a designated place designed to psychologically and often physically punish them and then further separate them from their communities, they become so prominent and normalized that it can be hard for us to imagine a world where they don't exist. But to loosely quote poet Joseph Capehart, if we don't clearly and boldly name our end goal, there's absolutely no way that we can get there. Thank you.
More noise! More! More noise! A little bit more! I'm not gonna lie, I was having a shitty day, but she just made me feel better. So make some noise here, y'all. Alright, we're gonna keep it rolling. Up next, we're gonna bring up Brother Kurt, a super duper dope motivational speaker. All I gotta do is go on his IG page and I feel like I'm ready to take over the world. Make some noise for Kurt, y'all. A little bit louder, make some noise for Kurt, y'all.
How we doing today? Man, I got a 6-year-old son, you can do better than that. How we doing today? First and foremost, let's clap it up for yourselves. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. I said clap it up for yourself. You guys can do it. There we go. Question though, how many people were there last year when there was a whole bunch of protests and rallies for George Floyd? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Keep them up high. Huh? Look around. A year later, we're back. I know there's a famous quote in this country that history tends to repeat itself. But why is that? Say that again? We ain't learned nothing. But let's be honest though, I'm a little bit disappointed in a lot of us who are here, including myself. Because the truth is, are you really giving 100% effort? Are you? The sad thing is I see so many people love to gather together and be reactive when we see a young man or a young woman get shot by the police. But I don't see too many people being proactive when it comes to elections.
That's right!
I don't see too many people being proactive when it comes to mental health services in our community. I don't see too many people being proactive when it comes to, private prisons in our community. Absolutely. But if we're consistently being reactive when a young man or a young woman get lost, then why the hell are we doing this shit for? What's the point? Let's be honest. And it's okay because I said I'm in that bunch. If you're just clapping your hands and when you're amongst your peers, but you're not clapping back at family and members who might be ignorant, you might not be meant for this movement. It starts at home, right? If you love to rally up when someone's being reactive because a social media post goes viral, but you're not rallying up your family members and friends to figure out how we can eliminate this ignorant mindset, then this movement might not be for you. The whole point is, I'm trying to get us to move past these dope rallies and move to different sectors, organizations. Because unfortunately, there is a lot of Daunte Wrights, but they're in our school systems too. They're in our mental health clinics. Our social workers need support. Our teachers union, the young brother, what do you say? Where he's at? The teaching unions need support. But once again, what are you going to do when this rally ends? What are you going to do? Do you know how many people are really fighting for this? Like, all right, let me bring it back. I'm getting too excited. That cough is kicking in, right? If you think Black Lives Matter is just a cute little sign or a hashtag and not a lifestyle, you can leave.
I mean,
if you don't realize that this is a lifestyle that you demonstrate by how you talk, by how you act, by the people you connect with, by the words you speak, by how you motivate people who may not look like you.
Correction, Black Lives Matter is a business.
But the key is, though, we all need you to play your position. We're a team. We all have a different position in this. Some of you might be needed to educate the teachers. Some of you might be needed to uplift our kids. Some of you might be needed to run for politics. Some of you might be needed to be the next police commissioner. Some of you might be needed to be the librarian. I can keep going, but play your part.
Mike Jones, I'm about to send you a package. Don't go nowhere.
So, as they say, history tends to repeat itself. I don't know if I told you I got a 6-year-old son.
I know you're here for the
and
entertainment, Mike Jones, but I need your help for a minute.
I pray to God
Pull your
that
sniper
the next
out.
10, 15 years his ass won't be at a rally because you all, including myself,
Only
are
to
playing our
those that's
part.
disrupting.
Make sure you take this fight beyond the rally. God bless.
More noise! More noise! Alright, up next, we're gonna bring up Robin Amir from the party, from the Black Caucus of Socialist Alternative. Make some noise, y'all, make some noise! Not loud enough, make some noise! Not loud enough, make some noise!
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all y'all in the
All
string.
right, no
It's the
justice!
resistance.
No justice! That's right. So
I can't
my
do
name
too
is
much
Robin
talking
Amara.
because I don't
I
want to
live in
interrupt
Boston.
what's going
I
on.
help form a tenants union
Shout out
this
to
year
everybody in the
combat
stream.
Our really wealthy landlord that refused to take care of working people. I'm also a member of the Black Caucus of Socialist Alternative, an active fighting organization, and I just wanted to be here to share some words. So across the 50 states, in large cities and small towns, millions of youth and working people have been gathering for the BLM movement as it surges on. We stand in protest of a system of state violence on Black bodies like Emmett Till, Tamir Rice, Philando Castro, Tony McDade, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. The system that took Khalif Broder's life, the system that causes an average life expectancy of 35 years old for our Black trans community. 35. The system that refuses to acknowledge that we will not be subdued. We will not be subdued by oversight boards, corporate statements, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Black capitalism, nor business as usual. We've seen the state move into action about the COVID-19 pandemic. Though it's been slow and disorganized, they're doing so people can get back to work. Yet the state has done little, they've done nothing to end the pandemic of violence that they've created and upheld systemically for decades. Where is the vaccine to end the senseless, deaths committed by police. Today, we have come here to say that Daunte Wright's life mattered. Police refused to show restraint when dealing with the Black community, refused to show mercy as was shown for Kyle Rittenhouse and Dylan Roof, who murder and go home and get Burger King. I'm also here for Adam Toledo, a young boy shot with his hands up. Police say that those who comply with them will be spared. But what they say is as empty, as hollow as the bullets they spray on Black and brown bodies. What we need right now, what the brother before me was talking about, what we need right now is not allyship. What we need right now is solidarity. Allyship is coming here and marching and then going home. Solidarity means taking up the fight alongside the Black community. It means fighting for defunding of the police and fighting for fully funding public housing, education, and it also means Medicare for all. Medicare for all. The police and the state don't give a damn about Black bodies. The police and the state don't give a damn about Black bodies. But we have to be honest, police and the state don't give a damn about anybody. Funds were allocated to barricade and protect Kim Potter's house in recent days, yet every opportunity to protect the people who are victims to people like her becomes a pointless debate out of which we get crumbs. Money talks, and it's clear what we are being told. This morning, I woke up to news about a white homeless man, shirtless in a park, shot in the back in Portland, Oregon. Maybe y'all didn't hear about that yet. The state has no regards for our mentally ill or our homeless populations. They have no regards for human life. In Minneapolis, the Democratic City Council promised to defund the police, yet this promise has completely fallen through. We have not seen significant action taken in this country to curb police violence or prevent poverty by building up programs for our communities like public housing and schools. So if the state won't forge ahead, then we will. We will be the vaccine together in unity. As a woman of color, I know I'm not safe. Not safe in the car, not safe in the delivery room, not safe in the boss's office. I'll be the first to let go. But an injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. Say it with me. An injury to one? That's right. I want to see us gathered here like we are today, like the brother before us was talking. This is nice. I'm glad to see all these faces, different colors, at different heights, everything. Everyone's diverse here. That's great. That's what we need. But I want it to be at city council meetings, at our union meetings, gathered in our break rooms, in our college dorms, with our community. We need to shut down business as usual. Block anyone who says it can't be done. Our humanity is at stake. It is. Police violence is the visible and violent hand of the state. I'm going to say it again. Police violence is the visible and violent hand of the state. But it's also an issue of labor. In Bessemer, Alabama, the poorest city in the poorest state of our nation, Amazon decided to build a factory to get workers to work for them. And what we saw over the past months was workers trying to get a seat at the table by forming a union. You guys heard about Bessemer, Alabama? All right, that's good. This workforce, maybe you didn't know, is 70 to 80% Black workers. Did y'all know that? It wasn't that loud. Y'all didn't know, but it's 70 to 80% Black workers. And most of them are women. Amazon did one illegal thing after the other to stop these workers. We have yet to see any response or consequence to Amazon's ruthless, illegal union busting. This is how corporate America enacts racist violence while the state complies. I'm a proud member of Socialist Alternative, and I joined Socialist Alternative. Make some noise! of my comrades. I joined when Bernie Sanders was taken down by the Democratic establishment in last year's primaries. Socialist Alternative believes, as I do, that this fight will not be won with faith in a single candidate. It won't be won through compromise or toothless reforms. And it won't be won based on identity politics. The best way to fight is by joining a fighting international organization of the working class, where we don't ignore racism, sexism, homophobia, but see the links to exploitation all under capitalism. And there's other groups here. Socialist Alternative is the one I'm a part of. I think I love it, but there's plenty of groups here. Everyone needs to be getting actively involved, like the brother before me said. We can't just be meeting here and gathering and going home. I'm almost done. You need to join an organization that builds a fighting working class that tackles all the oppressions to create a socialist economy that puts the powers in the hands of the workers and the youth. I'm so sorry, I forget the girl's name that was before, that spoke from Northeastern. We are working with Northeastern students and Roxbury residents to stop the building of a luxury dorm. Did y'all know about the luxury dorm? All right, so gentrification is not just about white-owned businesses and fixing up apartments that just to jack up the rent, push people out. It's about using the police and the state to force black people out of their homes, just like we saw with Breonna Taylor. Taylor lived in a home on a street that big landlords in the city wanted to clear out and revitalize. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but it's true. We can't let Northeastern enact state violence on black and brown Roxbury residents. And so, because of that, we are organizing. On Sunday, we are also having a public meeting where BLM activists, like all y'all here today, are going to talk about the movement and establishment lies and what all of us can do to take steps forward. On that call, we're going to have the DSA alderman from Chicago, Byron Sigcho Lopez. He will be there to talk about the death of Adam Toledo. We'll also have Amazon organizers that were on the ground trying to organize a labor union. Kim Potter, the 25-year police veteran, forgot the difference between her taser and her gun. She said she forgot, right? Don't you forget that our solidarity is the engine of change. Black Lives Matter.
Make some more noise, y'all. Little bit more noise, y'all. Alright, so we're going to just do some real quick housekeeping. I'm going to read our demands, and then I'm going to bring up two women that are going to lead us in a grounding exercise before we head out. Alright, so first, I need all the marshals to raise your hands. All the marshals, raise your hands, raise your hands, raise your hands. Most of them have on bright vests. Others are on bikes. You listen to them. If they tell you to turn, you turn. Don't listen to any other outside sources. Number one. Number two, when we go, it's going to be the truck. It's going to be our lead marshal, Mateo. Everybody make some noise for Mateo. We're going to have the volunteers that are holding the banners behind Mateo, and then we're going to have everybody else following behind them. When we leave, we're going to head out this way. We're going to take a left. So we're going to wait for the truck to go out, Mateo, the banners, and then everybody else. Sounds good? Make some noise. If you have the sign, let me see it. While you're walking, I need to see the signs. You can put them down now. Who has a megaphone? Raise your megaphone if you've got one. You're chanting today. Raise your hand if you've got a voice. You're using that today. Today, we are all related to Daunte Wright. Make some noise.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Resistance. I appreciate everybody in the stream today. Everybody in the stream. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Mike Jones for sniping heads off in the stream. Sheila Rames, Rocky Shepherd, Roasted Studios. Good looking out for that donation. You're looking out for the other person that donated as well. I didn't want to interrupt the rally that was going on, all the speakers. But I do want to let y'all know that I appreciate everybody that's in here. So what we got going on today, ladies and gentlemen, is a rally for Daunte Wright and also for police brutality all across the country and in here in Boston as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a special good look at this crowd. And this is what I've been doing, ladies and gentlemen, since I've been here. While the speakers were up talking, I paid strong attention to the people in the crowd. And like I highlighted last night in Brooklyn Center, how there was a group that was starting trouble. And, you know, although it wasn't enough trouble for the police to react like they did, because when they react on everybody and act like they ignore the small group that's causing the problems. But anyway, as I was saying, I want to highlight what's going on here as far as the crowd and everything. Okay? You never know who's who. You got some people, you know, they inside men, you know? And they here from the start of the rally, because that's usually what it starts as a rally, as a protest. Usually it starts as a rally, then it turns into a protest, and then it turns into mayhem at the end, usually at night. So we're taking a special look at, you know, these people in the crowd to make sure what we're working with. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you really can't tell at this point. You really can't tell. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the Dudley section of Boston, Massachusetts, predominantly a black section of the neighborhood, predominantly a black section of the community. That's why I asked you guys to pay special attention at who's involved with these rallies. We have B2 police station right across the street from the park. And I have to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I do not see too many people from this community here in this park that plans to be involved with this protest that's about to begin. We're going to be walking downtown, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be walking downtown. It's going to be a walk. And also, you can tell who's who when they have a problem about being recorded. No such thing as a private protest. So, you know, that's a telltale sign as well. I'm just going to take a walk around the perimeter, and I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to cut off this stream in a few minutes, but I'm going to come back once the protests start from this point to downtown. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to get a refreshment real quick. Make sure everything is charged up because I don't want to go out on you guys. But this is supposedly it's going to be an all-day thing. How y'all doing? All right. This is supposed. You have a water?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you. Appreciate you. What kind of juice is that?
Oh, all the juice.
Oh, can I have one of these?
Of course. Also
Thank you.
take this for your vlog.
Thank you. Mumia.
Hi, Mumia.
From my hometown.
Right? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? We're going
Yep.
next weekend.
Next weekend?
There's going to be a big move, or the 24th, the weekend of the 24th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for that information. Appreciate y'all. Just got some refreshments, ladies and gentlemen. So what they're doing now is they're preparing everybody for the walk from this point to downtown Boston. Don't know, I believe Boston Commons. They have refreshments for everybody, water, and just getting everybody prepped up for this walk that we're about to take. I did say I was going to cut out. I'm not sure at this point. I just may, but if I do cut out, guys, just know I'm coming back. You guys stay tuned. Hit that bell for the notification. Make sure y'all hit the bell for the notification. As y'all noticed earlier, I was taking pictures of the police officers on the roof. They're basically up there, hopefully, to look for disruptors. Okay, that would be my thoughts on why they was up there. They're still up there at this time, but hopefully they'll look for disruptors. And once I come across them, I'm gonna remind them as well. Take notice of the people who will be disrupting if that happens, because what they're usually doing. They know who disrupts. They know who comes with frozen water bottles, fireworks, stuff like that. See, this is where I'm out here. This is my experience from last year, okay? This is what I seen from last year. This is my experience. So not only am I also out here to participate in the rally and protest of all the deaths in this country, but I'm also here to take a look at who will be out here disrupting, who looks a little shaky, who looks like, you know, I keep my eyes open. Always keep your head on a swivel when you're out here. But like I was saying, they're up there on the roof, and I wouldn't want to think that they're up there to harm anybody, or basically up there for intentions to snipe somebody's head off. I wouldn't take it that far. Not saying they wouldn't, but I'm pretty sure they're up there now just to take notice to make sure everything is peaceful. And we are in front of their house, our house. Shout outs, we the people. Appreciate you, bro. And I appreciate you from earlier as well. My man. Pretty much have about 1 or 2 more speakers left. And then they're going to wrap it up. It basically is prepping everybody to get ready for this walk that we're about to take. And it's just going to go, it's going to go down like every protest has gone down around the country. And I'm not talking about with the violence. I'm just talking about as far as the chanting, you know what I'm saying? Marching, basically expressing anger, you know, of you know, outcrying for the injustice that's basically been going on all over the country. So once they wrap this up, we will begin to start marching downtown. It's the resistance, man. Out here in Boston. The Dudley section of Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts.
Bro, I didn't even know it was even. I didn't even know it was even happening. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know this shit was even happening. What if we were able to sit with them? Really? Really?
One more thing, we're not gonna be thin-skinned in the stream. Everybody got a right to say what they want to say. I got Mike Jones in there working. You know, he one man, and I don't give out wrenches like that. I'm sorry. Wrenches does not be given out on my channel like that. Not at all. But don't be thin-skinned. You know, you gotta deal with trolls just like you deal with everything else in life. You know? Here's the tip. If you don't like what they saying, you block them yourself and you won't ever see their comments. Trolls ain't nothing to me. I like them when they're in the stream because it exposes their racism. You see them somewhere else and they contradict themselves, and that's when you call them out.
We get that. But I ran into this, bro. I didn't know what's happening.
Ask y'all to stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody in the stream. We about to take this walk downtown, most likely Boston Commons. Everybody's getting ready. Jana or Jana, let me explain something to you. It's none of my business what you think about me. Only thing that matters to me is your account in this stream. Thank you.
How do I do that?
Jana, you'll never be able to get it off. Shout outs to Allison Hill, Dragon E.T., We the People, Mike Jones, Grand Pooba. What's going on, Grand Pooba? Where's your audit? Shout out to Where's your audit? What's going on? Stephen Mazur, Wolfie Gladly Accountability Inspector. What's going on? Rocky Shepherd. Nivek Nassam. Colts Moms, what's going on? We out here in Boston, Massachusetts, the Dudley section in Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts. Everybody's over here taking a moment of silence, getting ready to take this walk downtown. What's going on? That's a Raw. What's up? Good to see you. How you doing, man?
All right. Making my rounds. Trying to get active in the community, you know what I mean?
I sent you a message.
I did see it. And one day, if I'm not too busy, we can go out there and do a little...
number again,
bro. Yeah, 617.
Yeah, I seen you was down there at the hospital, Children's Hospital.
Oh yeah.
I went down there the next day after I seen the video. Because I was trying to see if they was going to be, ticketing people like
right, do some stupid stuff, yeah. Right. They stopped that right away, man. Sometimes you gotta test them to see what they know.
One second.
Yeah, take your time, man. Yeah, that's how you get more active. N-E-Z-E-S.
A fucking female cop? I swear, man. If I get shot by a female, bro. If I get shot by a female cop, nigga, I swear, man, that would never happen.
Alright, man. You can listen.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a different.
I already know. I already know.
I can work with others. Exactly. I got you.
Myself, you already know what I bring.
I got you.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. We're going to get ready to march down Boston Common shortly. It's in the Dudley section, Dudley, Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts. We got undercover police over here. They've been sitting here since the beginning. Right here in this great car on the corner.
Are you safe? We see what's going on. And I can't sugarcoat that to them. What I want to say here is that we all see one another's struggle.
Undercovers right here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not a debate. Not a debate. I'll say it over and over again. I'm also Jewish, and in the Jewish faith, we have a common saying.
They on the phone communicating with each other.
Pray as if everything depended on God, but act as if everything depended on you. And this week, people do a lot of praying, but today you're doing a lot of acting, and there's no break from that.
Just gonna sit over here and see what they do. Momentarily, we will be leaving up this park to march downtown, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody in the stream. It's the Resistance 2021 Boston protest for the death of George Floyd, Andre Wright. Plenty of people here in this city that were murdered by the hands of police. Undercovers right here taking notice of the whole situation. They are we across the street from the police station in the park.
You are not strong.
Dudley, aka Nubian Square. A section in Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts, ladies and gentlemen.
Because you are black, you are beautiful because you're indigenous, and no system with any white men signing things that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about can take that away from you. Remember that.
So I'm gonna slide out this stream and I'm gonna come back when we get to marching. It's the Resistance, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Hey, y'all gonna make sure you gonna take a look for the disruptors, right? Hey, thumbs up. Y'all taking a look for the disruptors, right? Make sure y'all direct your attention to the disruptors. Thumbs up. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I'll be back momentarily.